Welcome the timeless forgotten mystery. There's a small triangle of ocean that doesn't appear on any map, with dimensions no one can pin down. And yet, nearly everyone has heard the stories tied to the legendary Bermuda Triangle. Wrapped in mystery and sparking some of the wildest conspiracy theories ever imagined, this strange patch of water is often seen as the most dangerous, deceptive, and deadly place on Earth. But how did a part of the ocean that isn't even officially recognized gain such an infamous reputation? Over the centuries, this invisible triangle has become a graveyard of wreckage and disappearance, swallowing ships and planes, along with the people who dared to pass through, or even fly above, it. Books have been written, documentaries produced, and scientists have scrambled to explain what seems unexplainable in this perilous stretch of sea. How could 20 planes, 50 ships, and hundreds of lives simply vanish? Is it all coincidence? Or is something sinister lurking deep below the surface? I'm James Stewart, and you're watching Ast from Earth. Join me as we dive into the notorious Devil's Triangle. Together, we'll go back to where the legend began, look at its most mysterious disappearances, break down the wildest theories, from Atlantis to rogue waves, from magnetic anomalies to toxic gases, and ultimately uncover what's really behind the Bermuda Triangle. Can something seemingly inexplicable actually be explained? At first glance, it might sound like the opening of a mystery podcast, but the truth is there's real science and data at play here. Still, this is one of the strangest and most fascinating stories I've ever told. What makes it more bizarre is that the Bermuda Triangle doesn't appear on any official maps, nor does the US, to which it's closest, recognize it as a real location. Unofficially, the Bermuda Triangle is a region of the North Atlantic bounded roughly by the southeastern coast of the US, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. Even then, its exact size is debated. Estimates range anywhere from 500,000 to 1.5 million square miles. That's a margin of error of nearly 1 million square miles. Its shape, too, shifts depending on who's drawing it, sometimes a neat triangle, other times more like a rhombus. Bermuda dodecahedron might have been more accurate, but far less catchy. And right away, that points to one big problem. If its boundaries have never been consistent, then how can anyone give solid statistics for disappearances inside it? But what has happened within these waters across history is undeniably intriguing. Our story begins over 500 years ago with Christopher Columbus. In 1492, he set sail with 3 ships from Spain to find a western route to Asia. After 10 weeks at sea, he landed in the Bahamas, today called San Salvador. On that voyage, he became one of the first Europeans to pass through the Sargasso Sea, and with it, what we now call the Bermuda Triangle. Strangely, Columbus himself recorded unsettling events. In September of that year, his compass readings went haywire. On one night, it pointed northwest, only to shift northeast the following morning. Days later, he described the sea rising to unnatural heights and saw what he called a small, flickering light on the horizon, like a candle in the dark. Imagine hearing that in 1492, when so little of the world was known, no wonder it stirred fascination and fear. Fast forward to the early 1600s. An English ship called the Sea Venture, bound for Jamestown, sailed straight into a hurricane near Bermuda. Wrecked and marooned, its crew survived, but the story of disaster added fuel to the triangle's reputation. Some even say it inspired Shakespeare's play The Tempest, where Bermuda is described as cursed. Then comes one of the eeriest tales, the ghost ship of 1881. The Ellen Austin, a cargo ship headed from Liverpool to New York, spotted an abandoned vessel adrift in the triangle. No crew, but plenty of valuable cargo remained. The Ellen Austin's captain sent men aboard to salvage it, but during a storm, the 2 ships were separated. When they reappeared, the salvaged ship was once again completely empty. Its new crew had vanished. Attempts to tow it again ended the same way. The ship disappeared into the mist, never seen again. Official records suggest Ellen Austin's 1881 voyage went smoothly, but the legend endures. Stories kept piling up. In 1918, the USS Cyclops, a massive Navy cargo ship carrying over 300 men and 10,000 tons of ore, left Barbados for Baltimore. She never arrived. No us, no wreckage, just gone. It remains the single largest non-combat loss of life in US naval history. President Woodrow Wilson even said, "Only God and the sea know what happened." 2 of her sister ships later vanished in the same waters. Then came 1945's infamous Flight 19. 5 Navy torpedo bombers set out on a training mission from Florida. Their leader's compass malfunctioned, and soon they were hopelessly lost. Radio transmissions captured their panic. We cannot be sure where we are. Their final words: "It looks like we are entering white water. We are completely lost." All 5 planes vanished. Even the rescue plane sent after them disappeared with its 13-man crew. The official Navy report concluded it was as if they had flown to Mars. Through the 1940s and 50s, more passenger planes disappeared without a trace. The mystery grew until in 1964, a writer finally gave it a name: the Bermuda Triangle. Soon, sensational theories caught fire. Atlantis, aliens, time warps. By the 1970s, Charles Bullitz's best-selling book had turned the triangle into a global obsession. Spielberg even referenced it in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. But how much of it is myth? And how much can science explain? Let's explore the theories. Some point to magnetic anomalies, rare places where compasses point to true north instead of magnetic north. Early navigators could easily become disoriented, but modern pilots know how to adjust for this. Others suggest extreme weather, hurricanes, rogue waves towering over 80 feet high, and the powerful Gulf Stream, one of the fastest ocean currents on Earth. Any of these could sink ships, scatter debris, and erase evidence. Then there's methane. Massive gas deposits beneath the seabed can erupt violently, reducing water density and causing ships to sink in seconds. Although this theory is more sensationalized than supported, it shows how natural forces could be mistaken for supernatural ones. When researchers actually examine the data, the truth is less mysterious. Between 1982 and 2015, just 4% of global maritime incidents occurred in the Bermuda Triangle, no higher than anywhere else. Shipping data from 2021 shows that vessels were 90 times less likely to suffer casualties here than the world average. Aviation records tell the same story. Since 1965, only one flight reported significant trouble over Bermuda, a JetBlue jet that hit turbulence. Even Flight 19, experts now believe, was simply a tragic case of human error. And then, of course, there's the weather. Bermuda, Florida, and Puerto Rico sit in Hurricane Alley, battered by storms year after year. With centuries of ships and planes crossing this route, it's inevitable that disasters would happen. So, what's the real answer? Statistically speaking, nothing unusual happens in the Bermuda Triangle. It's not even among the top 10 most dangerous ocean regions. The so-called curse is simply a mix of storms, navigation errors, and human imagination. Sorry, aliens, but the Bermuda Triangle is fabulously unremarkable. And maybe that's a good thing. Sometimes, the truth is less exciting than the legend, but a lot more reassuring.